Lon.TV IFA 2019 coverage is being sponsored by Lenovo. See all of their product announcements at Lon.TV/Lenovo IFA 2019. So Lenovo released 2 new yoga devices at the show, and these have a couple of neat features that haven't been on a few of the other ones. We're going to start here with the C940. This, I believe, starts at $12.99 here in the U.S. There's a 14 and a 15-inch available, and maybe Jake can cut in here a little bit, and we'll have a closer look at it. So they've made some changes to the device. The first is up here at the top. They made the bezels smaller, but they still incorporated the webcam at the top, so it's not going up your nose. It has that neat little shutter mechanism up there that we've been seeing on a few of the other devices they've come up with. These have 10th generation Intel i7 processors. You got the sound bar like before, but it also now supports the Amazon A word. We're not going to say it so we don't set off your devices, but even when the computer's asleep, you can summon your best friend to do things on your behalf if you want, again, without saying the name here. And the 15-inch version of this is going to have a GTX 1650 GPU option. They won't have it in the smaller 14-inch version, but the larger one will have that. Now, for a little more money, they have a laptop version called the S740. So you will have yogas that are not 2-in-1s. This is kind of their premium brand for consumers. And this 740 has the 10th generation processor like the other one. There's a 14-inch, though, that will be available in the European market that I think some of you might be interested in because it has a GPU. It's not a very powerful one. It's an MX250, but still it's going to give you some decent graphics performance in a small 14-inch form factor. In the U.S. market, we're getting a 15-inch only, although they will have that NVIDIA 1650 available on that 15-inch version. We'll try to get both in and test them out. So on the lower end of the spectrum, we have some under $1,000 yoga devices. This is their new C640, and Jake's going to pull in a little closer here. This one costs about $849 depending on the configuration, and there will be, of course, a lot of different configurations there. It's got a full HD display, 1080p. They're saying about 20 hours of battery life on it, so it's designed to really be out in the field for a long time. Nice and compact, so that's something to take a look at. These also have the A word built in if you're interested in that. Then they have, for a little bit more money, a slightly larger one here. This is the 14-inch C740, and there's also a 15-inch available as well. And of course, the pricing will vary based on what you put into it. The big thing that they've done with the design on these as well is thinned out the bezels a bit. So if you remember on some of the other ones we've looked at, they've had a very large bezel here at the bottom. That's been almost, I think, cut in half. So if you were not happy with the bezels before, these will look a little nicer for you. So this is their new Marvell Ar game that they are releasing at the show here. And this, like the Star Wars thing we looked at last year, is an AR experience. So you put your phone in this headset and you can see the world around you. And right now I'm also shooting at aliens, or actually most likely getting shot at by aliens. So this is different from the Star Wars one in that it comes with an additional controller here. And if you buy this, you can also get the Star Wars game that they released last year. So might be something worth checking out if you wanted to play around with AR using your mobile phone. So when we get back from IFA, we're going to be reviewing this one. This is the Vision M14. This is a very slim and lightweight external display that's USB-C powered. It has 2 USB-C ports on it, so I will figure out why it has those 2 ports. I'm guessing you can choose which side to put the cable on, so we'll give that a shot when it comes in. But I really like how lightweight and slim it is, a lot slimmer than some of the other portable displays that we've looked at. This is a 14-inch display. And then they have a few more ThinkBooks. So we looked at the 13-inch ThinkBook a little while ago. They have now a 14 and a 15, and the 14 here starts at $649, so it's a lot more reasonably priced. And one of the cool things about these is that they have more utility. They're kind of designed for small businesses, so you get full-size ports on them. So you have the 10th generation Intel processor in there, but they've also got gigabit Ethernet built in, HDMI, full-size USB. And one of the other neat things that they did with this on the side is they put in a recessed USB port. So if you are using this on your desk at the office, your USB cable isn't kind of sticking out of the side. It's kind of recessed in there. So this is the 14. For a little bit more, they have a 15-inch. You can put up to 24 gigabytes of RAM in these. So there's, again, going to be a lot of different configurations, but the price point is a pretty reasonable starting point for a small business laptop. Now, whenever we do a review where we've got a monitor on a desk, I had this monitor from Lenovo that I got in a long time ago that I've been using, and this is a new version of it. This is a 23.8-inch, 24-inch essentially, 1080p display. It looks very similar to that monitor, but it's on a super sturdy base here. So it doesn't move around at all. And if you lift this thing up, this base is super heavy. So if you don't like monitors that shake every time you touch the desk, this one is going to hold itself together in a much more sturdier fashion. And this same look is going to apply to their desktop all-in-one that hopefully we'll get in soon. They didn't have one here for us to check out, but it's a really nice sturdy base. This base, though, is just a base. It doesn't have any charging or any kind of docking functionality to it. But again, it's very sturdy and doesn't move at all. This package is $189 for the 1080p version. So this is not a new thing, but something that I do think is pretty cool to look at. This is the C930 Yoga Book. It sells for about $839, and we're going to have Jake get in a little bit closer here because this keyboard isn't actually real. It's a e-ink display, so it gives you a keyboard surface that you can type on, for example, but if you wanted to maybe do a little bit of drawing with a stylus, you can switch it here and get a drawing pad. Again, e-ink, but very low latency on this. It actually is pretty quick, and you can do some drawing. You can do a whole bunch of other functions here just using this little pad down here. And this is a Yoga, so it can flip over into tablet mode. This one's running Windows. It's got one of those i5Y processors, so the former Core M, so a fanless chip. Good performance out of it, very slim, and something that some folks might find of interest. So Lenovo also owns Motorola, and they have a brand new phone called the Motorola One that they just released here at the show. This is going to cost 429 euros, but I would expect in the US about $500 or $600. Now the key feature of this one is the camera here on the back, and we're going to have Jake get in a little bit closer here. It's got a 48 megapixel sensor, but each of these lenses has a specialty. So they have a wide-angle lens, a zoom lens that'll give you like a 3x optical zoom. They have a nice bokeh lens for the blurry backgrounds, and of course your standard lens as well, along with a flash. So it's pretty neat. It looks like they got rid of that little Moto Pack thing that they were using on some of the other Motorola phones we've looked at. This has a Snapdragon 675 processor, an OLED display. Not a bad phone here. It's going to kind of sit in the middle of the marketplace and does have a very nice camera. We'll see if we can try to get one in for review to test it out. We often do look at the Motorola phones on the channel. This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold-level supporters, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Mike Talbert, Brian Parker, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/s.